Hey gang, welcome to Coffee Break TV. If you're new, please comment, like, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. So let's see what's new.
My video about the new Kingston Smart City project and how Hurricane Melissa was quite literally the perfect storm to begin the project got taken down, so I'm going to try this again. Yes, there are plans for a smart city in Kingston, Jamaica starting in 2030. And yes, the United States is already funding these plans to the tune of $100 million. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, Kingston didn't really get hit. It was mainly the western portion of the country that got destroyed. That's the fucking point. Where else is everybody supposed to go? They have to go east toward Kingston for shelter, aid, work, all of it. And they're going to use this sudden increase in population in and around Kingston to justify rolling out the infrastructure and technology that's needed for this project at an accelerated rate. Not to mention all of this land to the west that's been absolutely decimated. A lot of it contained agricultural land and tourist attractions, which means that Jamaica now is going to likely have to sell off the reconstruction of the land or the land itself to foreign countries for pennies on the dollar because they're very much in debt. And I'm sure we can all think of some patents or technologies that may or may not exist that could or could not be used in a scenario similar to this one for the benefit of someone that I'm sure we're all aware of. And as usual, the further and further down this rabbit hole you go, the weirder and weirder it gets.
Stop scrolling just for a second. What you are witnessing in Jamaica right now is not just another storm. This is officially one of the strongest ever hurricanes recorded in history, and it's one of the fastest intensifying storms that humanity has ever seen. So this article is a little bit behind because it is actually hit now up to 185 miles per hour of winds, but already it was being considered to be observed as one of the biggest ever fringes that they have ever seen on the Atlantic. Now, wouldn't it be crazy if there was plans just before this storm to start bringing in smart cities to go completely digital all over Jamaica? You know, things that were actually funded from the US, bringing in complete control systems. A $5 billion future project for smart cities in Jamaica. Smart Transport Management Centre, the automated enforcement that is going to fill every single street with CCTV cameras. I know I've just made a video about this, but I need people to realise what's actually going on. This is under something called the Vision 2030 Jamaica. The 2030 agenda, you know. The government's been developing plans for a new city project from the ground up designed to test and implement smart cities and smart technologies in New Kingston. And like I said, this project has even got funding from the US. You see, Jamaica is literally being called the testing ground for smart island technology, and mixed with this storm coincidence right now, it works very coincidental with the land grab ideology and the fact that they're trying to implement this new system. And if it works there, you can bet that it's going to come everywhere else. And I don't know how they might implement that, but I'm guessing there's going to be a recurring pattern. So as always, beautiful people, question everything, because the future that they're building might not be built for us.
It is going to be a massive task to rebuild Black River, this historic town. I flew over the south coast of St. Elizabeth into Black River, and from Treasure Beach to this point, we could easily say that between 80 to 90% of roofs have been destroyed. A significant number of buildings were damaged. On the ground, the impact is even more palpable. Right now, we are standing in close proximity to the Black River Hospital, and that has been totally destroyed, along with several other buildings, including historic buildings, churches, courthouse, the parish council, and other older heritage buildings have been destroyed. The electricity grid of Black River is totally wiped out. Telecommunications, we have seen one tower damaged. We are not certain if the other one is operable. So the entire infrastructure and everything needed for the convenience of modern living is destroyed here in Black River. The people are still coming to grips with the destruction, but from what I've seen and the interaction, the people here are strong, resilient, and positive in outlook. The government intends to complement that with bringing in the necessary emergency relief. The first line of effort in this regard is to clear the roadways to allow for vehicular traffic, not just to allow people to come in and visit relatives that they can't get in contact with, but to bring in much needed supplies to the supermarkets and other supply centers which are now empty. So once we get that accomplished, then we will start to see on top of that more assistance coming in, including assistance from ODPEM and other relief agencies who I'm certain are already mobilized waiting to come. Suffice to say that the area that we have been advised is the best area to do an entirely new city, and it is because all the requisite elements to create a new city exist here. And you don't want to create a city that replicates Montego Bay and replicates Kingston. You want to create something unique, and therefore this parish, St. Elizabeth, would be where we would be looking to develop our.
Jamaica's Smart City project isn't just about transforming the island, it's about setting an example for the rest of the world. If successful, the project could position Jamaica as a leader in sustainable urban development, inspiring other developing nations to follow suit. By adopting smart city technologies and prioritizing sustainability, Jamaica could prove that even smaller nations can lead the way in global innovation, creating a future that benefits both citizens and the environment. In conclusion, Jamaica's $5 billion Smart City initiative is more than just an investment in infrastructure. It's a bold step toward a smarter, more sustainable future. With its focus on technology, economic growth, and environmental responsibility, this project has the potential to transform Jamaica into a global leader in smart cities. While there will undoubtedly be challenges along the way, the rewards are enormous. A smarter, more sustainable Jamaica is just around the corner, and the future looks incredibly bright for the island and its people. What do you think? Will Jamaica's $5 billion Smart City project reshape the nation for the better? Share your thoughts below.
So Jamaica is about to get approximately $150 million US following Hurricane Melissa. Sounds like a blessing, right? But the catch is somebody somewhere just lost that money. Welcome to the storm economy, where investors, they hedge and they bet on disaster affecting islands like Jamaica so they can make money. It's called a catastrophe bond, or a CAT bond for short. And that is a part of the Jamaican government's risk management kind of diversification strategy, where they purchase this bond, which is like a form of insurance, where investors put up the principal. Jamaica pays a premium, just like a regular insurance policy. If no major hurricane hits the island, then those investors get their principal back in full, plus interest, which is usually around 6 to 10%. Sweet deal. If a major hurricane hits the island, however, then those investors lose their money. The hurricane has to meet certain specifications like wind speed, or the pressure system needs to be below a certain level. Those metrics have to be met in order for the bond to be triggered. Now, Hurricane Melissa met all of those metrics and more. So for anybody wondering, was it a really bad hurricane? It was the worst. Our pain and disaster have now become commodities that can be traded, or tragedy has become a trading activity. That $150 million US is disaster aid. It's not development aid. And it usually is kind of like first responder money. It's paid out quickly. There is no assessment that's being done over months, and is usually intended to help with that emergency relief, clearing the roads, putting the electricity back on, the essential services back on, while the country waits for maybe donations from other countries and other forms of insurance policies that they would have held for disasters like this. It sounds like a lot of money, but already early reads on the cost to repair all the damage that has been done on the island will be about maybe 2 to 5 billion US dollars. The infrastructural damage alone is estimated to cost maybe 800 million US dollars. That cat bond of 150 million US dollars will probably only make up 4 to 5% of the total amount of disaster aid that we will need. I know some investors this morning are not happy. They have lost their money. The cat bond was paid out to Jamaica at 100% because of how serious Hurricane Melissa was. But think of all the premium Jamaica would have paid on that insurance policy over the past 2 to 3 years. Who is really winning? Is it the island affected, or is it the investors?
Now here's the reality about the cat bond. Under Dr. Nigel Clark, who was Minister of Finance and the Public Service in Jamaica, Jamaica took out a catastrophe bond. It then renewed that bond, and I'm going to read exactly what was this bond, how it works, and now we've seen reports coming out of Jamaica about Unleash It. So it says Jamaica's catastrophe bond is globally pioneering the cat in a grid trigger approach, as we are the first in the world to use this. So Jamaica is the first in the world to use a cat in a grid trigger approach. The cat in a grid trigger places a grid over Jamaica and surrounding waters, with each grid having a centralized air pressure threshold. Payout is triggered if a hurricane passes through a grid and has centralized air pressure at or below the threshold for that grid. Note, the lower the centralized air pressure, the higher the intensity of the hurricane. Hurricane Melissa was below 900 millibars, so it's one of the strongest hurricanes in history. Okay, so I believe it's number two, silver medal. Right? The size of the payout is related to how many such grids are breached. So it's a granular approach, but the more grids that are breached, is the more money that gets paid out to Jamaica. So of course, what are some of these grids, the pressures? So what it said is that each of these grids is associated with a centralized air pressure threshold. For instance, the threshold applicable to grids 5, 6, and 7. Of course, I would want to know where's grids 5, 6, and 7. But 5, 6, and 7 is Montego Bay and then going east. So we're looking at Montego Bay out to St. Anne's Bay, right? So those are 5, 6, and 7. So this is an example. The grids 5, 6, and 7 and 8. 958 millibars, 945 millibars, 947 and 932 millibars. So that gives you an idea. All of the grids, from what I can see, were above 900. The lowest I'm seeing in here is 920 millibars to trigger a payout. So we have to understand where we're going. Jamaica took out insurance, and that insurance is now going to flow to the government of Jamaica and allow them to speed up the recovery.
Jamaica as a smart city. Is the government pushing for that digital demand, working towards AI-powered infrastructure, digital ID? What do you think? Are they ready for that? That seems like such a big jump and a big leap of change of how the island functions currently. I've been to Jamaica multiple times, and I love the culture. I love the people. I love how, if you want a banana, you could go right outside of your home and eat a banana or fish or anything. It's just so free and so relaxing and rejuvenating. But now that's about to potentially change because everything's going to be monitored through a digital ID, through improving the infrastructure of the island. So will it be good? Will it be bad? What are your thoughts? How do you feel about smart cities? I feel like it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't like change, or I don't like rapid change. I'm not for sure. And how this hurricane set them up to be ready for this big change quickly. Do you feel that some of the information provided is like a setup? Like they're going to move all the people towards the Kingston area to try to get them a part of this digital ID, all these changes, to be involved, to be ready for the changes that are coming, because they have no choice, because they don't have no money to rebuild. How do you feel about Jamaica becoming the next smart city on the list, and all the damages and destruction that had to be done to get this agenda met? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe at Coffee Break TV.